Studio Plum.
And I'm Sean of Renstead Interiors. We're interior designers
turned internet friends
turned real life friends.
Welcome to the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
We're not that hot
or that young.
Every week, we'll be spilling the tea on how a new generation of interior designers can run their businesses.
Welcome to the club. Hey, Sean.
What's up, Rebecca?
Happy to be here in my city that I live in.
In your own place with your own clothes and all your own stuff?
Yeah. So we had a little bit of a hard time with our Vegas market travel experience.
I'm glad I tried the go for one day only. I don't think I would do that again. I think I would still stay the night at least and maybe do like the day and a half, fly out on day 2 in the late afternoon.
Agreed. Yeah. So
the one day only wasn't good.
We thought we'd be like cute and
jet set
business people with our like fly in first thing in the morning, fly out after dinner. And didn't really factor in the fact that there's just a lot of, you may have heard, there's a lot of airport issues. So on my end, both of my flights got canceled and I did end up spending the night anyway. So that was real fun with nothing but a uncharged phone and a tube of lip gloss.
Yeah, I was a little worried when my flight got canceled at the same time. And my luxury was being in Greater Los Angeles. I was willing to like let them send me back on a flight to either Long Beach or Orange County or Ontario or Burbank or LAX. Like there was like God. 5 I was like, can I please get home? I don't want to be like brushing my teeth with my finger. Like
I will say that the Nomad Hotel has very nice little basic toiletries.
See, and it's helpful, but I'm glad I didn't spend the night. But I still got home at almost midnight.
Yeah, so that was an experience. And I do feel like even if that hadn't happened, I felt like we were rushed.
I had a very short list, but I did get to spend a couple hours in Norwalk. We were both there, but I was really gathering up a lot of things for my showroom space and like needing a lot more fabrics and materials and like really spending time taking notes. Which now it's like real because my pieces are going to get here in the fall. So like, I want to be more ready.
Maybe sooner.
Well, I did project out the dates. It looks like potentially mid-October based on their new lead time.
Solid fall. Yeah.
So, maybe it'll be November. I don't know. But if they get here early, great. If not, in my head, when I ordered them back in June, I thought, if they get here by December, great. Like,
yeah.
So at this point, anything is an improvement, but I'm happy to have it.
Yeah. So I definitely feel like we got the basics covered, but I liked, we like to bop around different lighting places. I like to poke at accessories sometimes. There was none of that. Next time we're going to go back to our longer, more enjoyable hotel stays and bougie designer friend time.
I would like, a little bit more hang out, don't feel rushed when we want to talk to people in showrooms, loop back to a couple things.
Talk to more of you hotties. We did see a few and had a couple DMs, but we just we didn't have time to, we did have one happy hour time slot, but a lot of people had conflicts and it's just hard. So onward. Onward onto the show.
It's like I'm preoccupied by so much stuff right now that it's like hard to imagine like getting some vacation time squeezed in before summer is over and like getting some pool time. My pool is done, but the landscaping isn't. So like we can swim in it. It just has dirt all around it, but like I have summer Fridays.
You can crop that part out.
I've been trying. I still take like half days on Fridays during the summer and talking to the team. And I'm like, it's going to be so weird when we have to go back to like regular work days.
I can't wait.
Maybe I won't. Like
I'm over this whole summer shit. Like I mean, like Cecily's sleeping until 8 o'clock. Like it's just ruining. Yeah, it's there's just the like chill
You need
vibes.
her to go back, but you would still like to have your summer. You just need her to go back to school and like
I just have too many things. Like I have things that are on like too quick of deadlines. Like I'm not chill vibe 2022.
uh-huh.
So it's fine. But I'm ready for everyone to be back on the hustle bustle train.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep the rent paid, keep the bills paid, keep the team happy. It's been good having the office. I mean, honestly, it's like very productive getting out of my house. I don't know if any other designers have considered this. I don't think we've talked about this much, but like not being in your own environment does help a lot. Like it's grown up real time. You shared that even like when you started getting your space. But I mean, if I did like being at home when I needed to be, but I don't. And that's what I'm discovering. It's like, you know what? That's okay. Schedule my time differently. Like I'm still in charge of it, but being here, being with my team, growing into it, like it is a good environment to be in. So even if you can just get a small space that's not in your house, I feel like my
I
level
feel
of
like,
distractions are way down.
well, we are gathered here today to talk.
To perform a service for services.
Yeah, like we realized we haven't actually just like talked through this idea of different service tiers, why we have them. I've been doing a lot of kind of re-tinkering with some of mine as I've, bumped into things that aren't working for me. And there's a lot of like this whole emotional side of design, like a lot of it comes in to play, I think, with certain services, for me at
Mhm.
least. Um, and yeah, I did a little bit of an audit on my own services guide recently. And yeah, let's just talk about it. We have some overlap stuff and some things that are different.
Yeah, I think the idea that started this was this question that Terry asked you, your husband,
Oh
like,
God.
is the juice worth the squeeze? And like now it's like stuck in our paws. Like we can't stop thinking about it when we do things of like, was this worth it? Like, how much did we spin our wheels and was it worth it? And I mean, that's not the total lens of all the services we offer, but it is sticking in the back of my head constantly of like, why am I doing this? Was it worth it?
Yeah. Did you get one of those shriveled up limes that you're trying to squeeze into a margarita and you get like
It's
three
just
drops,
dry pulp like inside.
Like, if you
It's
bought a
not worth
whole
the
if you
squeeze.
bought a whole bag of those, like don't keep going back to it.
Like, I know you love fresh limes, but it might be time to just buy the bottle of concentrate.
Or just like
Like,
switch to an old fashioned or something, like just try something new for a bit.
like,
It's out of
because
season.
it's just not the time of year. Like, I'm sorry, it's not, you can't make it happen. And so I think that's what drove some of this questioning was, okay, what was working, what's not, and so
Yeah, because when you get one of those like plump lemons that just like you can just squeeze with your bare hands and get a full 8-ounce glass, like that
that's
feels
decorating
so
projects for
good.
me.
Yeah, you know when the juice is worth the squeeze. Like, dang, that was a
I
good
make a
lemon.
lot of money and I decorated a room and it looks
It's
nice and I get,
satisfying.
yeah, I get my markup revenue and my design fee revenue, but
My creative,
man,
like my inner creative is
yeah, but like
happy.
not so much with it just virtual consults. Like it's not it pays me for the time that I did it. It's not that creatively fulfilling. I can't do exactly what I want. I don't really know your whole space. Like, I never really get to get going and no one will ever really see most of that work. So then that sort of
Hmm.
little that little hit of like knowing I did a good job, pat on the back, nice photos, well, it's like less likely to happen.
And that's where I think it really gets into your own personal needs and I guess personality, because virtual consults actually they are worth the squeeze to me. I love, I don't know, I love being scrappy with people. I love giving like off the cuff ideas, thinking on my feet, giving people that aha moment, and then
Yeah.
just like walking away. Like, I mean, I wouldn't want to do
So
that
nice
full
talking to you.
time.
Bye. Like,
Bye, good
yeah.
luck with that. But then I mean, a year later, sometimes I'll get DMs from people and they're showing me what they did. And yeah,
Yes.
I'm not going to submit it to Architectural Digest, but it's still like they're so happy. I don't know. I do love doing those. So for me, it's worth the squeeze, but I wouldn't want to do it all day, all the time.
Yeah. I think that's why, like, for both of us, I would say, like, at the top of our servicing levels of like what's available, I think my like easiest way to get to me is virtual consults. And I just recently added a 30-minute consult option. And I'm
Hmm.
just gonna like share the why I did that. I don't think it's necessarily like I want to sell it. I'm still stuck on this idea of value-based pricing, and that when people see, it's like when people see the menu and they see you can get a small, a medium, or a large, most people aim at medium because they don't want to look like cheap and whatever getting a small, but they also like don't need the large, so they pick the medium. And I feel like what I've observed from the way that people respond to services is like having multiple options makes people feel like they're in control, but really I'm controlling the option.
Well, yeah, there's a
So
lot of psychology around that, like
yeah,
middle
like
decision.
I don't want you to pick the 30-minute one, and the 30-minute one sounds really short on purpose. I want you to pick a 60-minute virtual consult because I can get more done with you. We can accomplish more. But the psychology of it looks like, oh, look, there's an option that could fit my schedule. If I think I have a really quick question, I don't need to pay for a whole hour when I just have a few questions about what size rug should I put in this room, and what size sofa goes in my living room. Like, you could in theory book it if all you really wanted was 30 minutes of my time. That's the lowest way to get to it. No one's booked
She'll,
it. Everyone still books the hours.
but you know that I'm going to add mine. I'm going to add one to mine because it would be good for follow up people. Because I do get a few repeat customers on consults. Um,
And they just want access again, but a
and
whole
they just have
hour is
questions.
hard.
Yeah, I feel like that might be easy to sell. And then I'm hitting the ground running because I already know the project pretty much.
Right.
And they
So
can just get me for a bite
a
sized.
shorter time. But for me, it was like, let's play the game of, well, look, he's available. He's accessible. I can do this. And it's not like, oh, let me make services for, every peasant in the world. But
You did not just say
it's, but it's that idea. I'm trying to convey it the right way, but it's like,
calling them peasants is definitely the right way.
well,
Let them
I'm
eat cake.
trying.
Let them eat
I just,
cake.
you can have some of my time. You're still going to pay for it. I'll give you 30 minutes. We won't get a lot done though. Like, I can't design your whole bathroom and your kitchen in this amount of time though. But
No, I'm not going to talk faster.
no, like, yeah, I'm not going to cram more into an hour, like a whole hour's worth of content into 30 minutes. But I, I think it is that psychology of saying to people, if you don't have a lot, whether it's money or time, there is still a way that you can work with a designer.
Yes.
Like, I can still
I get
do,
it. No, I get what
I
you're
can do a
saying.
lot in 30 minutes. I'm not going to be able to do a root canal, but I can
I'll
assess
do
the
half of one.
damage.
I'll get it started. How about
I'll
that?
get you numbed up, but then we're done. Okay. I'll
Or
see
we can
you.
skip it and go straight to what you need.
Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of like there is still a way to start. Like, I kind of, the reason I did it was thinking about way back to episode 24, we had Veronica Solomon on, and one of our key takeaways of observing the work that Veronica does is she has tried to segment her services by thinking about, can I meet clients where they're currently at? It's not about where she's currently at. It's about where her clients are, and having some option when they say, I can't do a whole remodeling project with you, but I still need advice. Okay, here's a way you can do that. You can schedule me for a 30-minute or a 60-minute virtual consultation. Or if you need more, I think the next level for both of us is, let's move up. We can do a 90-minute in-home consultation.
Yeah, Veronica is though she could teach a master class on setting and holding boundaries though. So she can do, I don't know what her services are now, but I think she can definitely, and you probably could too, get away with like having a lot of different offerings with really tight and firm boundaries around them. But
Yeah.
like me, like I'll just end up doing all kinds of stupid
You're
shit.
doing their whole house after they did a one
Like
hour consult.
they snuck in because I want to help or like they need help. And yeah. So
Yeah.
know thyself.
Yeah. If you know that's going to get you in trouble, then don't offer more. If you
Yeah,
don't
don't give a
like,
mouse a cookie. Like just
but I
don't.
I purposely priced my 30-minute, like my virtual consults aren't priced minute for minute what my regular hourly rate is. They are at a slight premium because I still got to interrupt my day. There's some setup. There's maybe one or two emails back and forth occasionally, but I really do put the onus on clients of like, I'm going to put this stuff in chat. You should open it. It's yours when you're done. There you go. Like I'm not doing anything with this once we're done.
You know, so I also, I think you do too, offer a free phone call on my website that people can book. And most people
Yes.
book that first. I had one recently with this woman who I get this question sometimes with the,
Okay.
okay, but what do I get?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, well, you get my time, you get my ideas, blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards, she's a freaking attorney. Like she
Okay.
knows what that is. Like,
So she knows what consultation time gets
yes,
people.
that really
That so
pissed me
that
off
to me
now.
is the I don't respect the work. I don't respect or understand. It could be either, it could be both. I don't respect or understand what a creative does, so I can't place value on it without knowing it. Like and whether it was I don't think it was malicious necessarily, but it's that idea
No,
of
but I wasn't getting like warm and fuzzy vibes.
oh no, I don't want to work with someone who's like, okay, so what do you when you leave my house, you're then doing and it's like,
No, you
what?
get
Like
nothing. You can take
after I have a
notes.
phone call with an attorney, I haven't necessarily won a lawsuit. Like,
I definitely
like,
got nothing for like in an hour.
yeah,
They didn't do any paperwork for me
yeah.
during my one-on-one meeting.
Consults are weird. I'm gonna say compared to where we were early in the podcast, it used to be like 50-50, I feel like, of mine that would go towards a project and others were like really standalone or they wouldn't move ahead. But now because I've really put up a lot of the boundaries and I've really gotten better at my sales acumen during those discovery phone calls, really most of the people that book a in-home consult with me now are planning for me to do a either a decorating project or a full service like remodeling project. And the intention is get in here so you can get the most accurate proposal possible. And we're not just like solving that many design dilemmas during the time, but I do still have those that schedule where they tell me the reason I'm booking this in-home consult is so it is a standalone, I just want to get your advice appointment. And that's totally okay. Like I get paid a premium for my 90 minutes. I help you, no proposal due. Awesome. Like wipe my hands,
Yeah,
done. Like,
I've done a ton of those and I've talked about this a lot and I really enjoy doing them. I used to separate it out actually. I used to call them consultation only and then in-home consultations. It was confusing, so I stopped. The
yeah.
point of it was to like understand intention.
Yeah, like, am I measuring rooms here because we're gonna remodel it? Like, should I know
Yeah.
that it's a 5x7 bathroom, or am I just telling you what to do in here? Like,
Yeah.
tell me what's happening.
And that those have definitely slowed down this summer. I don't know if it's summer, if it's people recession proofing and those people have lower budgets typically. So we'll see when fall comes back. But part of me want because now that you're saying that out loud, I'm like, well, if you're consultation only, I kind of want to charge you more because it's not leading to anything.
Yeah, it's just my time. There
And
will
then
be no
if
extra fees.
and on the other side of that, if it's consultation leading to proposal, I'm not going to give you every idea in the world. And I'm kind of arming myself for the proposal.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to charge the same premium to do my legwork, if that makes sense.
Kinda. For simplicity, I like that it's just one. Like,
I know. And
you can use it for this or you can use it for that. Like, I definitely don't have to work as hard, creatively speaking, if I know I'm going to write a proposal,
right.
because I don't need to spitball every idea that comes into my head, because we're going to go through a proper programming phase and schematics and concepts. But
And you don't want to like screw future you with some
screw the
idea that,
pooch.
well, like throw out some preposterous idea that you're going to have to somehow execute.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I think that the trade-off for me is like, okay, if you're going to do a full project, I don't have to work as hard creatively speaking during your in-home consult, but I am still going to have to create this proposal. On the opposite side, if it's consult only, no project, I'm going to work pretty hard creatively to give you as much as you can work with, after I'm gone. But I no longer have to write a proposal, which frees up, it's like front loading the energy.
Yeah, true.
And I do think it does get confusing for people because they don't know which one to pick. So that's where the phone call is the first line of defense of like, tell me what you want. We do offer these. We can do that.
Yeah. And I almost always have phone calls first, and I can usually, or I do know if this is going to be a bigger
Like
full service project. Yeah.
Those phone calls also often tell me, because when people schedule the phone call, my investment guide goes out to them right away. Like it's just automated through, they book through Acuity, and then the actual sending of stuff is handled through Dubsado, which is linked with my Acuity, so that all that just automatically gets sent out to them. And I have had a few clients call after reading through all my services, and then they describe what they're looking for, and they're like, tell me what that falls under. So that's why I like the phone call, because I can tell them, you're the closest to, this would probably be a virtual consult. Or I can't really tell that during a virtual consult. If you're local, I need to get into your house and do that. And that's also usually when I discover my designer on call clients, is like talking through the phone calls, or maybe after a virtual consult, where I realize like, oh, there's more here, but it's not a whole project.
Yeah. So just to back up to what you were just saying, my investment guide triggers from my website. So I use it as a lead generator.
Right. Like they sign up for it.
Yeah. So to get any information, like I have investment guide as a link that they can download, and I capture their information. So they see it, and then the investment guide leads them to book a call. Mm-hmm. But yeah, from that point, still they're like, well, I'm thinking this or that. I took designer on call. I used to have designer on call out of there. I took it away. I took a couple out.
Now it's like the animal style fries.
Secret menu.
Design.
Yeah. Because people were they were calling and they'd be like, I think I want this. Like they were ordering their service. I'm like, ooh, no, I don't want to do that for everybody, basically.
No. And I don't have, like, if everyone started calling and wanting that, and they're describing their projects, I have only like it's like 2 sentences that talks about it towards the end of my investment guide. Because I really, again, I think it's value-based.
Price payment is what they want.
Yes. They want the price, but they want you to still do a full service project for them. And so my designer on call, it's like I have a whole separate guide that talks about that if people are interested, and I send that to them later. And you were talking about boundaries, and that's the one where it has, I know yours is I think yours is different, but mine is all remote. So I don't do any in-home work. I don't come and measure anything. I don't drive to you. I don't meet with anybody. It can only be, in mine, it's limited to, you have 6 months from the date you sign up to use 10 hours of prepaid design time. That's hourly. So it's at my regular hourly rate. I don't charge it at a premium, but I think I should. But I charge it just at my hourly rate. You pay all of the 10 hours up front, and then you just use them up. And I make the client responsible for, they can only schedule 4 types of appointments: 15-minute phone calls, 30-minute phone calls, 30-minute Zooms, or 60-minute Zooms. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, and they can, if we're talking about an idea, they can send me things via email and say like, hey, I'm looking at these 3 light fixtures. Which would you pick? But I'm billing for that time. Like everything is getting tracked and added up to that. So that way, when your 10 hours is up, that's it. It's not refundable. It's not transferable. When the 10 hours is up, it's up. I have, as a courtesy, extended the expiration for a few people who were really close. And to be honest, I would probably do that for everybody. But I think some people just,
They need to
we've
know
talked
there's a
about this.
limit somewhere.
There's a limit. You can't let this go on for years. And I think Designer on Call attracts a certain type of clientele.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people who can mostly can never get done with a project, can never make enough time. It's never that urgent or that important. They like to hem and haw. They're looking for the unicorns. Like,
yeah, or I have one right now where like I've sent them
tons of great options.
like a few options to look at with some simple questions, and the couple can't get together to look at it, and it's been like a month.
Yep.
So I have not been doing it all remote, and that's definitely an issue. Like going there is like something that takes a lot of extra time.
Yeah.
But I also think that those are the clients that need that. So I don't know. That's why I've kind of just taken it off.
Does your commute time come out of their hours?
It hasn't been, because we don't really have major commute here, but
girl, must be nice.
Knock on wood. But it disrupts my day. And
yeah, that's, I think, what really gets to me is the like, oh, great, here's a Zoom at 10 a.m. and I was just in the middle of something. Like,
well, a Zoom is even like better than driving somewhere.
Sure.
But also, I don't know, I've had like just kind of not super tech savvy.
Mm-hmm.
Could be age related.
But you have to be able to send us stuff and send me links and get
not
measurements.
Send me like 14 emails in a row and then
know how to turn your screen around.
So I don't know.
I like it because it helps me pay the bills.
I agree.
What do I like about it? It gives me all that
like $2,000.
10 hours, that money comes in quick. It's all mine. You don't get it back. The downside, I'm on the hook with you for 6 months having to provide this service. And it sits in the back of my mind knowing that, oh, if I have 2 or 3 Designer on Call clients at once, I might not send a proposal for another one because I know that I don't want to be doing those all week because I've got full service work to do.
Yeah. So back to like the overarching thesis of this episode, like you don't have to do every type of service because other designers are doing it. If it's draining you for whatever reason, even if it's just right now, like I kind of pushed pause on it partly because of summer. Like I just can't. And my Designer on Call clients, I just had a couple issues that were just kind of bumming me out. So I just pushed pause on it. I might pop them back on there because they're kind of easy to sell.
Yeah. It's especially like invitation only.
Yeah.
We only do so many of these at a time because, you know, it's a lot of hours and some people go through them quick and you can make it sound exclusive.
Like, yeah. And from the like service offering standpoint, like take it off, play with what you offer within it. Like I'll probably reset some boundaries. And figure out ways to make sure people remember how to book on my calendar. Like no one's like the links seem to get lost. And I have a document too.
Yes.
So I don't know. I'll retweak it before I bring it back out.
I'm with it. In general, I've been on a satisfaction scale, I don't know, 6.5 out of 10. Like
it's way less satisfying than in-home consultation because I can't just do the old.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's what it's like, okay, great. Well, now I'm going to see you in another 2 weeks or maybe a month when you come back with your extra. Okay, now we did this and what's next? And not all clients are great at thinking ahead like we are. Like they don't book until it's like an emergency. And meanwhile, I try to tell clients like, can you just always have one scheduled? You can always cancel it or reschedule it. It's all automated. But if you would just finish one appointment and schedule the next one, we will slowly keep making progress on your goals. And this kind of reinforces the upside of our more full service work is that we're in charge of it. We drive it. We tell you it's time for a meeting. We need a phone call. We got to meet with the contractor. Versus designer on call is like, oh, you, the client, are in charge of it. You tell me when you want to meet or need to meet. So I like it much better when I'm in charge. That's just
Really?
overall for my life.
That's surprising.
Can you imagine? I mean, I am just so chill. Like,
you're so beta. Yeah, no, but I agree. So in between that, there's also the idea of design only, which I also dropped off my services because I just couldn't anymore.
Can I tell you how I've written? I mean, I think you've seen my investment guide. I have written design only to sound so
undesirable,
unattractive. It is so unattractive the way it's. I mean, it's basically like
my intern's gonna do it.
This. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's definitely like you're not gonna like this because of XYZ. Like
it's basically like the surprise grab bag of candy that they used to have it. Like, I don't know who used to have it. You know what I'm talking about? Like they have those little paper bags of things. Like, I don't know, like a toy store would have it or something.
Oh, and you always get like a junky
it's like
toy
sealed
in there.
Up. Like, it's all the shit that they don't want anymore. And it's just, like, you get what you get, don't throw a fit. Like that's what it should be called.
So, and that's design only, because my design only is flat rate, and I limit the number of revisions, and I limit it to
0.
I limit it to no more than 20% of the items can be revised so that's, if there's 10 things in a room, you can only get 2 things reselected. And so that's it. Like, if you don't like it, I've already given you options. Like, we put together, like, I put together what works. And the truth is, we know as designers, it's probably the much better option to pick, but clients get stuck on things. And usually with design only, the most limiting factor is clients are not just worried about the price of paying for design only, but they also are worried about the total price of the stuff in the room. And there's only so much I can do. Like, prices are prices. I can give you a whole room, but it's still going to cost money, even if you're buying everything from Target. Like,
right.
I don't have the best options for you on all of this stuff, or what could be purchased through affiliate links or Side Door or whoever. Like, you get my expertise, you get a good plan, but you have to manage all the orders. You have to coordinate the deliveries, the installs, the damages, all the tradespeople.
Shop sales.
The furnishing situation is kind of crappy still.
I mean, in a way, that's what people are doing. Done. That's what people are doing anyway, if they haven't hired a designer, right?
Yeah.
So it gets them like further along. But yeah, you have to be really accurate on selling it for what it is. And do you give them like sizes and stuff? Like, do you give them dimensioned floor plans?
I just pretty much create a furniture plan. That's it. Not really dimensions even. Like, they give me dimensions, and then I mock it up in CAD real quick and just go, here's your layout. And then, like,
this is a 65-inch credenza from Room and Board.
Exactly.
If you want to go Wayfair it, you can like find the dimensions and see what fits.
Stick with that size, like it's usually not great. And again, I think this goes back to, I think nobody picks it because they know they are not going to get a full designer experience. And I've purposely designed my services to be based on value. And I do not believe that design only is very valuable unless you really, as a client, stick with it and finish it and see it through. It's really hard to get that sense of reward when it's done, because a lot of people just never finish their spaces. And
they're like, oh, I don't like that little detail. And then that just stops them from doing anything.
Right. And you're like, well, listen, honey, beggars can't be choosers, because you're literally looking for a dresser that doesn't exist in a style, a shape, a color, and a price point
The
that
price,
will never
like,
happen.
I don't
Like,
want to pay $3,000 for a dresser. Well, good luck with that.
okay, yeah. And then I'm like, well, this one, then you can use as style inspiration, have fun trying to search vintage or estate sales or wherever where you think you're going to get a good deal, but it's going to be a look for less situation. And I purposely kind of in as nice a way as possible, try to get the investment guide to really not sound attractive. And I haven't just done any design only since early in the pandemic, like summer 2020. I haven't had, and that was when everyone was like stuck at home doing stuff. So I think that's what drove people to pick that versus like the real results. And I've never seen finished photos of anything. Maybe they're done. Maybe they're not.
Something that I've considered before that I feel like might be more fun in the same vein is to do shop the room PDFs. So basically do what you're doing for design only, but you just make it up, give all the shopping links, and then sell that for $25 download.
Oh, like they can see the picture as the preview and then go, oh, cool. Like click.
Yeah, here's my source.
Yeah.
Here's the link to the sources, the paint, blah, blah, blah.
If you could just have your assistant make all those.
Right. And then it's like a way lower price point. Like you'd be hopefully playing a volume game with that and get social media out of it. Like there's a couple like marketing things that it would help with. Drive traffic.
Helps people see where your creative mind is. Like,
so I feel like that might be something that I would do at some point if I had a helper, because that's like this is the Studio Plum look for a moody bedroom, bright and cheery family room, and get the affiliate links in there.
I mean, try to get something out of it, even if it really is just here's something you can take, do what you will with it. It's just for inspiration if you want it.
Yeah, like, $20. Like you would have to be like a really approachable price point.
Yeah, because I do feel like that's a very specific clientele. This is probably right where we branch. I think design only is sort of what like design only or e-design type of stuff is where we start branching off. Like these are the accessible. So like so far we've talked about accessible, entry level, approachability. And then from here on, we kind of start to move to this is luxury. This is higher end.
I don't get out of bed for under 20 grand.
I'm a supermodel. Like, I don't like, that's where we're starting to move after, like from here on.
That's a big jump, huh? No, like saying this out loud is making me feel like, whoo.
There's no mid. There is like, to me, the mid-level is designer on call and design only. And standalone consultations and stuff like that is the entry level. Like, what else am I supposed to do for you?
I have a mid solution actually.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, with the showroom.
The power hours.
And those are, so maybe let's just talk about that because that's new for you. And my showroom is literally a fledgling here. So I don't really have
it's
much.
Not for everybody, but it's, because I think the difference between the last ones we talked about is there are no end result deliverables that people are going to probably execute. So power hours, I kind of think I want to rebrand it, but sorry, Claire, but she already knows. So if you haven't been following, I own a showroom materials library co-working space that we call Happy Hour Design Collective with our friend Claire, who's another designer. So her and I co-own this space. So it is our shared office. And within that, we've built this pretty extensive materials library. It's in a warehouse. And next to that, we have a showroom where we sell custom upholstery. So when we did the materials library, it was meant originally for us. And then we have some co-working other local designers that work here.
Right. And they're like members. They pay to
members,
be part of this. Yeah.
It's community and collaboration. It's awesome. But we realized like there's nothing like this, especially Sacramento. Like we don't have showrooms. We don't have like everything is just mom and pop or like really construction oriented.
Yeah.
And so we don't have like curated, we don't have any fabric showrooms. Like there's just nowhere to buy wallpaper in person,
Yeah.
for instance. So we started offering this service called Power Hours, where basically it's design only for kitchens and bathrooms, where we get the measurements from them, get their questionnaires answered. Claire and I we do drawings. So we actually pull it into Chief Architect, do 3D drawings, and we do a quick design of all the materials. We do a first pull basically, and then the clients actually come to the library. So it's usually a couple, and it's really like actually fun for them. They get to like in real time, like, this is your countertop, this is your backsplash, and they make edits with us. I can do it in Chief Architect at the same time. We have our computers up and they're actually seeing the
they're
vision.
really involved in it.
And they're always like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like they can see their kitchen come to life, like literally.
And there's something really rewarding about that, but also invigorating at the same time, because you like for a client that the magic is usually we do it all behind the scenes and we show up with it and we bring them presentations and materials. But like, it is kind of cool for them to get to see, oh, I just had to pick this and then I did this. And then they're like, whoa, like they never would have done it on their own if they were just sent to Home Depot or Floor & Decor, and your finishes are much better quality too. So
yeah,
it really gets something great.
We can work with any budget really. So also they get on the same page. So I feel like it's just very efficient.
Yeah.
And most of them, like they've hired a contractor and they're already spending what, $75,000 to $150,000. So what's another few grand on us? But if they were to hire a designer for full service, it can add up to a lot. So it's like they have a decent contractor, but they don't have a design direction. And then then we give them a full material specification schedule, all the links to everything. Sometimes we sell things, but it's not required. And then they get drawings. We have a drafts person that we outsource, basic plans and elevations. So the contractors love it because they're like, oh,
it's all done.
Yeah. So that's been really awesome. And I feel like that's like an actual mid-tier offering.
Yeah. Like most of the decisions in the work are completed. They have to stick with their contractor and
they
make
get
sure
drawings.
design intent. Like, but I like it because of that, because it's all designed. And you guys, it's also like at a premium too. You guys don't just charge like for the 1.5 hours it takes to do a powder room or something. It's like a set fee schedule.
Yeah,
and I think that's the other exciting part.
Yeah, and it's flat rate. So powder room, full bath, and kitchens. We have like add-ons if they want us to measure in person or do a lot of space planning, like moving things around. We add on, but yeah, it's been really fun. So I think there's ways to do that without, I don't know, feeling like you're sacrificing design, because like we're still really excited about the designs we're coming up with.
Yeah. You just may or may not see them to fruition depending on how they keep you involved or follow up with you.
Though, like, so we did our first one maybe in February, and we have 2 that are in construction, and we are hearing updates because either we know the contractor or we're like we know the client. Yeah.
I like that better than just like here's your design PDF, see you later like mentality.
And I don't really
you get to do the work.
I don't really want to take on a powder bath only.
No, there's no money to be made and it's time consuming.
Unless it's really possibly opening up to a bigger project down the road. But
I hear you. But even then, man, powder rooms need all the tradespeople too. You still need a plumber. You still need a wallpaper hanger. You still need everybody has to touch it still. Like even changing the sconce. Okay, great. We're going to need at least a handyman or an electrician. Like,
yeah, I do not want to project manage that. No,
and all for such a tiny room. Like it's just so hard. So I love that you guys have already done that, because I definitely think there's a gap in the market for doing something that way. And I think there are people who have more money, but they just don't want to spend it on design. There are people who have less money, but understand the value of getting it designed properly. And so I think that's
Or they have
truly
less
meant for
money
that. Like,
and they're finally investing in something that's a big stretch for them and they don't want to fuck it up. Like that's been like maybe half of them.
yeah, especially bathrooms. I feel like most people understand, like,
Kitchens.
okay, we got to get it done. Kitchens is a tough one because they don't know what they don't know about clearances and walkways and they don't know that there's certain types of cabinet organizers available. Like it's shocking to me as a designer still, but I think we constantly go through this. You're like, wow, I guess, yeah, no one else is really, like, a lot of our clients have no idea the things that we know about how to plan a kitchen effectively. Like they've never had to think about it. They've never wanted to, maybe. So,
Yeah. Or even just pulling finishes on like a refresh. Their go-to is going to be to play it safe. And they're going to be just
it's
like,
going to look like a floor and decor.
yeah, it's just going to be fine. You know?
Yeah. So that's your mid-level. I'm not saying that's a no for me. It's just yet I really don't have even my whole showroom space ready, but we are going to have the custom furniture side of things, which that to me is going to be more like almost like a retail environment, you know, so far. Like, and I think that's kind of how yours is getting set up to be. So it's like, it's retail, but it is exclusive. It's private. Like we're not having tons of people walking in and out like at a West Elm. But once my pieces are here, it's designed to be able to bring our clients and sell direct to consumer designer quality furniture and upholstered goods. And that's like, I can do that and still kind of stop my hands when it's done. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And that's how we have it set up too. I mean, we've talked about this offline. Like it's tricky figuring out how to drive the right traffic in.
Yeah.
Because you need more traffic to make it like a big profit center. But you know, we only have so many hours in a week and we're not going to bring it. Like we don't want open hours. Like we wanted it by appointment only. And we don't want to bring a lot of other chach in right now, like not in this space. No. That might be a fun future vision, but definitely not there. And there's only so many clients that we have, you know, at a time that need a new sofa. So yeah,
that's still growing.
We're
still figuring that part out. But I think that's sort of like after this, we had like, then we're into the luxury side of interior design, which for me is, I call it decorating, but it's still like full service decorating, because then at the fees I'm charging, and I work hourly on decorating projects, we are going to set a minimum spend based on the room. And if you guys are thinking about that, remember that our HYDC budgeting guide, you can purchase it as a Patreon member or a la carte on our website. But that's where we sit down and establish that budget. And we say, great, your minimum purchasing agreement for this contract that I'm giving you is X amount because of what the room and the scope we've talked about. I'm going to get paid for that no matter what. I get my design fee and I set up a minimum amount that we're going to be purchasing. So then I kind of guarantee a minimum amount of markup revenue that I make from that. And that does make the juice worth the squeeze once I have that.
Yeah. And we've both started putting in some purchasing minimums to where that's partly, I mean, a lot for profit reasons, but it's also for, I just want to complete a damn project reasons.
Yes.
Like, let me get you a finished room, please.
Yes. I'm sorry. You need to buy a carpet. You need to get something
window
on the
treatments.
windows. Like,
yeah.
We have
you
to
need
be
to get
done.
It styled. Like there's like
to the end.
Get it to the end, get it complete, not like you just have a place to lay down and watch TV and put your shit away. Like
I hate that initial email where it's like, well, in this room, we really just need a sofa and a side table. And then in this other room, we need in the bedroom. Like, no. And sometimes people will send that in the discovery call. And I'm like, it sounds like you just need to go shopping. Like, I'm I'm not going to buy 14 things for your entire 5,000 square foot house all over the place. Like, that's not fun for you. It's not fun for me. No one's going to love how that turns out. I think you should just do, and then I like redirect people. Like, if that's what you need is you need help shopping, let's just get you on some virtual consults or designer on call, and I will help you figure that stuff out one by one. But I don't want to be on the hook with you for 6 to 9 months while I wait for stuff to get to the receiving warehouse after shipping delays for one nightstand in one room and a side table in another. Like, no.
Well, and it's
No
just not going to be
thanks.
photographed. Actually, can we push pause for a second? I have one other design idea or service idea.
This is
You-
Rebecca's best thing.
You're not gonna want to do this, but
Well, okay.
something in my back pocket that I think could be fun to do, and I've done it once, like a VIP day. Like a lot of other
Mhm.
services do this, or a lot of industries, where you basically just pay for a 1-day intensive, and you got me, my body, my eyes, my brain. And if it is going to Home Goods and doing a supermarket sweep to like do a full day
Or like
of
popping into
styling
CB2 or wherever.
on
like-
your credit card, and I'm your shopping buddy and telling you what you need, then
Yeah.
I think it could be kind of fun to do once in a while. And it's
would
like
not.
at a premium. No,
I'd be
you
so
wouldn't.
exhausted. That'd be like what we did at Vegas Market for one day.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd want to do it like a few times a year as like either the right client who needs it, and I think it would be fun to spend a day with them for one. Yeah, just like a quick cash grab.
Have to be the right type of clientele.
Yeah, and it would be just like a super consultation, like
A day rate is what you're talking about.
a
Like,
day rate, and we could
a day rate, but like I'm not giving you anything when we're done. Like we either get to it or we don't. Like
we're gonna take pictures, take some quick measurements, and we're gonna hit the shops,
yeah,
and then we're gonna come
should-
in and put it together, and maybe my assistant's with us.
maybe. That's gonna cost more if you need
Yeah.
an
Oh,
assistant. Well, there you go, hotties. There's one more idea.
Yeah, there's one more idea.
Run with it.
I think it could be fun to do sometimes.
I've heard of some other designers doing that.
Yeah.
I like decorating only projects. It's just like it comes together. It's like it's good, and then I don't have to deal with permits and permit plans and contractor bids and all of that. I like having a mix of all of these things. And then at the penultimate of this is full service, which includes remodeling.
Yep.
And that still has a minimum spend.
The big mama jamma.
Mine are hourly. You recently started moving some over to flat rate.
Flat rate for design concept, hourly for project management.
So like the
Best-
stuff that you can control for like design is flat rate.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's sort of out of your control from there stays on hourly.
And I get paid a big chunk up front. So it's like a
yes,
way
that
to
money.
like get that money. And then also, yeah, like a decent minimum spend. And if you get your vendors in order, there's good profit margins in it.
Yes. But I think the biggest part that a lot of designers are missing out on is getting that minimum spend through them instead of just letting the contractors and all the subcontractors make all the money. It's like, do I make a shit ton on tile? Maybe not for one room, but if we're doing 2 kitchens and a bathroom, or I should say 2 bathrooms and a kitchen, or in the laundry area, like, okay, wait, that's a lot of material right there. Like that starts to add
so
up.
you
I
put-
want to get my share. Like
I don't put materials in that.
you're
because
you're
it's
talking about
so-
decorating finishes is one minimum
Yeah,
spend.
Well, like I have a list of things that count, and it's based on my accounts. So like
Gotta get money.
hardware's in it, lighting's in it. Sometimes I'll buy tile, sometimes I won't, depends on the quantity. So I don't include it as part of the minimum spend because I don't want it to count when I'm getting 10,
Especially-
15%.
Well, and especially because it eats up your minimum really fast, which might
Yeah.
make people think, oh, I don't need to buy the other
Exactly.
stuff. Like,
And if the juice is not worth a squeeze on it, you
so
can't
bitter.
count it for 15%.
Yeah.
It's only for the meaty items.
yes. Yeah, we got to get paid, y'all. We've talked about this on so many episodes of like, why should it just be the contractors making money? Why should it just be the subcontractors making money?
And I know so I talked to a designer who actually I went to high school with. Hi, Corey, if you started listening. We we were talking about remodeling versus decorating projects, and she's like getting bugged by some of her designer friends to start doing more decorating, but she's been straight remodeling. And I was in her ear too, because it's, well, for one, there's the margins in furnishings. For two, you get a completely realized vision.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, okay, kitchen, okay, bath, okay, you can style that quickly. But if it's like a full downstairs, what are your photos of?
Just an empty living room, or the stuff that the client moved from their house
Exactly.
before,
Like their
and it's
Macy's
like
Radleys fucking floating in there.
their hodgepodge collection of stuff. Like,
well, you're not going to shoot it, or you're not going to shoot it, obviously. So
it's it just becomes not worth it, where you're just like, oh, like, I'm not going to sell this as my design vision. This isn't my living room. And then you just end up with only kitchens and baths.
And if you're a kitchen and bath designer, well, no, people love that and they're really good at it. And that
I like it, but you're not making as much money. Like, the money is addictive.
I wouldn't think
on furnishings. You have to charge a really premium price then to design kitchens and bathrooms. And a lot of the hotties we talk to aren't charging what I think kitchens and baths are really worth for all the time and energy that goes into them. They're, it's like the hours just don't pay you back.
Well, the kitchen and bath designers that I see in some of the Facebook groups, they sell cabinetry. So
they're retailing
different.
Something.
That's like, okay. I think that's the way you have to do it. If
when you get 10% on the top for $30,000 worth of cabinets, like,
they get more than that though. If they're selling them, if they're dealers,
they're getting even lower prices on it.
So if you're a hottie out there and you're just not into the decorating, tell it, like, I want to hear if there's like better reasons.
Better reasons for what?
Better reasons for being renovation only than I don't want to. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want. I think it's the, like, if we need to look
or
past
I don't get it.
Is it because we're scared of it? We don't understand it. We don't know what it is. We don't know how to do it. How do I get started? That's totally different than I have a very good reason. I understand everything about it, and I'm still choosing only to do renovation or finishes only for remodels or new build. Like, I got to know the why. And my hope would be that your fee revenue is so high that it compensates you for not having to do that. Like,
right.
I could understand you not wanting to deal with supply chain. I can understand you not wanting to have to learn about warranty issues and like all the vendors involved. I can understand that. But how are you getting paid at the end of the day? Like,
but I don't think the headaches that I endure from supply chain and vendor issues or damages or whatever, which are legit, I don't think they are more annoying than the daily barrage of construction questions in detail.
I mean, you're telling me the wrong, because I like construction, and usually I've like handled a lot of it.
I know, but it adds up to be the same. I'm not saying don't do it, but it's like, okay, you get hit with one snowball, or you get
another
pounded by tiny pieces of hail all day.
So it's what that saying is. It's half a dozen of one,
six
or
of the
six
other.
of the other.
The same.
So, and I think the nice part about it would be, oh, hey, I made a 30% markup on that thing right there, and I get to go home and have that, instead of, well, at least I got paid for my time being at a whiny construction site. Like,
yeah,
I didn't have to go to a whiny construction site if I sold the sofa, and maybe I'll still have to go there later, but I'm getting not one or the other.
Yes. And I am also like, I understand not everybody finds the joy in it that I personally do. So
yeah,
I'm not.
This is
judgment.
our juice worth the squeeze? Yes. You now go and find out what if your juice is worth the squeeze. Like,
exactly.
That's the point of all of this, was we can share our pros and cons and hopefully give you a little bit of clarity, or maybe we put a little couple questions in the back of your head that are gonna keep you thinking of like, do I really like offering this? Do I even want to still do this?
Are there
like,
services you do that you just dread doing every time, and it's not just the client in particular?
Yeah. And
take
maybe
it off your menu for now.
Take it off or charge more for it so fewer people pick it. But when they do, you feel more fairly compensated for doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's okay. Price it to make it worth it for you. And don't be afraid to ask yourself, what's the number? I hate virtual consults. What's the number that would make me want to do one? And some of you might say, there is no number. I will never like doing that. Okay, fine. But some of you are going to say, some of you are going to price it in a way where you go, okay, if someone wants it, I'll do it. They're going to pay what I ask for, not another market price.
Or they're not going to do it.
And I'm looking at some of these people on the Expert, some of these designers, I know they're charging basically, it's a bullshit number. They're like, if I have to deal with this, I'm going to charge this number because that number makes it worth it for me.
Well, yeah,
but they don't want to do this.
But people are also paying for like basically it's a cameo. Like,
oh, 100%. It's I'm a celebrity, but I have
like, can I get Jenna Lyons on the phone? Yeah.
They want that. They want that celebrity association. They want to brag to their friends of like, I booked with Amber Interiors and it's like, what did she tell you that was different than what you could get? Maybe nothing, but also, hey, you paid for their time. That's great. Like, do what you want.
I mean, I know they're giving valuable information.
If I had the money to spend on them,
but like $500 a minute is a lot.
But also, if I'm that wealthy that I can afford those designers for an hour of their time, I'm probably spending that much online shopping that day anyway, like anywhere else. So at some point, those people, that buyer doesn't care. Like, what's $1,000? Right. They don't care.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like they're going to spend that anyway. They're going to go on the Chanel website after the call and buy something else. Like,
add to cart.
Yeah. So hotties, the whole thing is find what you like.
And know that there are seasons for everything. You can put things on pause. You can revisit them later. Like you get to decide. So if the recession really becomes a drag and you're freaking out, then add some of those low hanging fruit options that you don't want to do when you're busy.
I 100% believe that you should have a couple of various options that show people that they can still work with you. And we observe some of those mid to high level buyers probably keep going, but people who are very cost sensitive, the entry level market of services is really great for them. And you may still be able to keep small bits of that income stream coming in. And the truth is, I think a lot of those people might have never been a good fit for your full service projects anyway. So it's good to have something that does that and, make yourself available to the peasants.
Let them eat cake.
Let them eat cake. Let them eat consults.
Speaking of peasants, do you follow the Greedy Peasant?
No.
On Instagram? Oh my God, he's so freaking funny.
Wait, is this the one that does the tassels?
Yes.
Oh, I follow him on TikTok.
Greedy.peasant. Yeah, him with the tassel. He's must be like really into medieval history.
It looks like it takes up his whole life though. So
oh my God.
These are what the theater, you know what? TikTok was made for the theater kids who we all thought were so weird in school, and TikTok was made for them. Like they already have these costumes in their closet.
Yeah, he already has a tassel collection.
They don't need an excuse for a costume party. They are already planning this with their friends when they go to like watch a movie and stuff. So TikTok is great for the theater kids. I'm glad that they found their place. They found a home. Yeah. It's good. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, until next time.
Stay hot, designers. Thanks for joining this meeting of the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
If you liked what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Check out the show notes there for links to things we talked about today.
We're keeping the conversation going on Instagram, so don't forget to like, comment, and follow @Hot Young Designers Club.
You can find Rebecca on Instagram at Studio Plum.
And you can find Sean at Renstead Interiors. That's WRENSTED.